He's back. The El Bicho is back.
Cristiano Ronaldo got 2.
Just a few days ago, they said he was finished.
Ronaldo was the dictator there. And what pissed me off is
Ronaldo.
the guy is... I'm sick of tired. Bro, he can't run, he can't dribble, he can't do any skills, he can't pass, he can't cross.
Damn!
He shoots off target, bro.
They said Portugal played better without him.
This is the best team Ronaldo's ever had around him for Portugal going to the World Cup. I think Portugal's at their best if he doesn't play.
They said he only cared about scoring.
This isn't about you. It can't be about you anymore. Let the next generation come or let other teammates come and just be a supporting cast member.
It was more important to get Ronaldo a goal and more important to feed his ego than it was to make the decisions that was best for Portugal.
Then came the jokes, the memes, the hot takes. Anytime, anywhere, Cristiano was the centre of attention.
Where is Ronaldo? Where is Ronaldo? Where is Ronaldo?
Ronaldo, you've been waiting for 52 years. Don't feel bad. This is Congo. You were unlucky. You fell against Congo.
One draw against DR Congo, and suddenly he was being treated like a retired player who accidentally walked onto a World Cup pitch.
He seems to be on the way of things, in the way of this team actually getting forward with some sort of rhythm. Right now, he is not useful to this team based on what we saw today.
But the only player scarier than Cristiano Ronaldo is a Cristiano Ronaldo who hasn't scored in his previous match, and he always knows how to make the world stand in awe.
Keep that same energy. Come with that same energy when you jump on TV, when you go on social media, and don't switch up for likes. Don't talk about how a 41-year-old guy put on 2 goals. Don't start saying good things about him now. Keep the same energy, man. Write the same stories. Go on social media. Write it's just Uzbekistan. Write that Ronaldo's finished. Write that Ronaldo should have walked away with a hat-trick. Keep writing, keep talking your nonsense.
You said you're back, Ronaldo? No, you haven't left, my man. Entering the tournament as one of the heavy favourites to win it all, Portugal quickly turned their superiority into reality when Neves powered home an opening header after just 6 minutes, throwing World Cup newcomers DR Congo into confusion in their very first appearance on football's biggest stage. At that moment, everything on the pitch seemed to be unfolding exactly according to script, like a perfectly smooth running movie. But the instant Yoanna Visa found the equaliser just before halftime, everything changed, turning the entire second half into a nerve-wracking thriller that tested the patience of fans to the absolute limit.
Interesting whistle!
Amid that suffocating atmosphere of pressure, the cameras turned toward Cristiano Ronaldo, but all that remained were disappointed shakes of the head, 3 harmless off-target shots, and just 25 touches throughout the entire match. It was a frightening silence, the kind of lonely statistic usually associated with an unnoticed centre-back deep in defence, not the image of the greatest goal-scoring king in football history. The complete helplessness displayed by the Portuguese superstar on the pitch ignited an explosive reaction in the commentary booth. And this was the moment when Thierry Henry and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the 2 men sitting in Fox Sports studio, decided not to hold back at all.
One thing that's important, people please at home, the team needs to score, not you need to score. If you make that run here, you make the defender take a decision to crash the 6-yard box. But because he wants to score, he goes into the path of Bruno Fernandes. If he goes into that 6-yard box, you've been in that situation, Alexis, you would have had to follow him, and then it would have been a tap-in for Bruno Fernandes. But because he wants to score, he goes into the path of the back pass. You see both players, and it's easier for you to defend. And that's my thing. The team needs to score, not you. You saw the reaction of Bruno Fernandes behind, going like, let it roll, make a run, create space, so I can tap it in. It didn't happen.
His mindset is he's the number 1 in the world. That's the way he approached the game. The question here is what we will notice very early, if the body follows the brain.
Right.
Because I remember myself when I played in that age. In my mind, I was number 1. Just like today. But the body didn't follow. And that's a natural thing because you want so much, but you have to accept that the body doesn't follow. And he has to see himself what that combination will be.
Those razor-sharp assessments quickly revived old doubts, because this was far from the first time Henry had openly dissected Ronaldo's performances. However, amid the tense atmosphere surrounding this year's tournament, those words went far beyond ordinary criticism and struck directly at the deepest fear Portuguese fans had long tried to suppress. Was the selfish ego of a 41-year-old legend unintentionally dragging down the very team he captained?
To be honest, I feel like they're just force-feeding the ball to Ronaldo a lot. There's many chances where they're on the wing and they could have at least tried to shot it, but every time they try cutting it back. It's a learning experience, but Portugal will come back and they'll win the World Cup, mark my words.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
They were just trying to force the ball, of course, to Ronaldo. They just want him to get the goals, just like they've seen Mbappe, Haaland, Messi get all their goals. Ronaldo obviously felt like he wanted to fit in, you know?
Yeah.
So they were just feeding the ball to him, not enough movement there.
It's pretty depressing, to be honest. We all want Ronaldo to win. It's obvious, but it's bad. That's bad.
However, had the story ended with criticism from Henry and Ibrahimovic alone, it would probably have been nothing more than another routine television debate under bright studio lights. The real turning point that transformed that dull draw into a media bombshell of enormous magnitude came from somewhere nobody expected, inside Portugal's already fractured dressing room. At the centre of that explosion stood João Neves, the man who had scored Portugal's only goal of the match.
João, tudo bem? A gente acompanha o entrosamento de vocês lá de Paris. Esse time de Portugal hoje é muito coletivo e tem a última Copa do Cristiano Ronaldo. Como que vocês gerem tudo isso de ter uma estrela tão grande e hoje um time tão forte com vários outros protagonistas nessa Copa do Mundo?
Acho que nós sabemos o que o Cristiano fez pela nossa seleção, pelo mundo de futebol, mas neste momento sinto da parte dele e de todos nós que ele não é um de nós, que é mais um para ajudar, não é diferente dos outros, está aqui para dar o contributo que toda a gente vai dar.
When facing reporters and being asked directly about his senior teammate Ronaldo, Neves delivered an answer that, when translated literally, sounded almost like a hidden declaration. Everyone knows what Cristiano has contributed to both the national team and the sport itself. But at this moment, he is no different from the rest of us, just another player trying to contribute like everyone else. Viewed carefully, that response was actually intended as praise, as Neves was trying to emphasise that Ronaldo is extremely humble and never places himself above the team. But the internet has never been patient enough to read closely. All people saw and immediately clicked out were 6 words, no different from the rest of us. Tragically, a 21-year-old who had just played the hero by rescuing a point for his country suddenly found himself trapped in a storm of criticism and branded a villain by a section of CR7's most passionate supporters.
I think Ronaldo fans took this out of context. What he meant, what João Neves meant here, Ronaldo fans, is that everyone in the Portugal team, when it comes to the World Cup, on that pitch, everyone needs to do the same thing. Everyone needs to do their role. Everyone is a team. Everyone is together. Everyone has the same role, and that role is to bring the World Cup to Portugal, right? That's what he meant. He meant everyone, he's just another player. He meant that it came out wrong, if that makes sense. It generally came out wrong. He should have stayed away from saying this because he's getting a lot of heat right now, ladies and gentlemen. What happened here is that it came out wrong. He didn't mean it in that way, but people obviously, they don't look at it at that way. They're so mad because Cristiano Ronaldo didn't score and, they didn't pass Cristiano Ronaldo, which is the most stupid statement.
Just as the media fire had begun to spread, Francisco Conceição stepped in and poured another bucket of fuel onto the blazing flames.
Não, eu acho que Cristiano, com sua qualidade de fazer golos, acho que não há ninguém como ele nesse capítulo e nós não temos essa obrigação, essa necessidade de lhe passar a bola. Eu, por exemplo, falo por mim, eu passo a bola para quem acho que naquele momento está melhor desmarcado. Não é que tenha tempo para pensar qual é a cara do colega que está ao meu lado, não. Acho que fazemos tudo por instinto, fazemos tudo, são milésimos de segundo, não há tempo para isso. E claro que o Cristiano está aqui para ajudar como qualquer outro jogador da seleção.
As if trying to clarify the harsh reality of the game, he bluntly explained that every decision on the pitch must be made in a split second based on who is in the best position, not on any special privilege that says the ball must go to Ronaldo. Once again, viewed through a footballing lens, it was a perfectly reasonable explanation of how the game operates at the highest level. Yet through the hands of sensationalist media outlets, the quote was mercilessly stripped down into the headline. We are not obligated to pass to Ronaldo, transforming a tactical explanation into what sounded like a declaration of independence, a public rebellion against the captain's influence. That disastrous misunderstanding was like throwing a match into a powder keg. And because this was the scandal-filled internet of 2026, the story quickly escalated into something both absurd and ridiculous. The chaos began with a completely fake comment, carefully photoshopped and falsely attributed to Neves' girlfriend, actress Madalena Aragão, containing a provocative message telling Ronaldo that he should retire. Although it was nothing more than a product of image editing technology, its explosive spread created a massive public storm, one so powerful that it even dragged Georgina Rodriguez, Ronaldo's fiancée, into the controversy when she immediately posted a sarcastic response, only to later realise she had fallen for fake news and hurriedly deleted her comment in embarrassment. The media storm left behind a battlefield of speculation and assumptions, forcing people to stop and ask, who is the real victim here? Is it a 21-year-old who scored for his country, only to be turned against because of a compliment taken out of context? Is it his innocent girlfriend, attacked by hundreds of thousands of hateful comments over words she never even wrote? Or is it Ronaldo himself, a man who remained completely silent throughout the entire controversy, yet somehow still found himself thrust into the centre of the storm and made the target of endless criticism? Amid all that toxic and relentless chaos, the only person who managed to keep a cool head and step forward to restore a sense of reality was Ruben Dias.
Tal como eu disse antes, não é tema para nós. É insignificante, é barulho, é ruído, faz parte da competição, faz parte de jogar nesta seleção, faz parte de estar rodeado pelos jogadores que estamos, mas não deixa de ser ruído ainda assim e, como tal, não é importante para nós. Eu não acho nem positivo nem negativo, no sentido em que eu não sinto que deva achar nada. Eu acho que cada um de nós, incluindo, obviamente, o Cristiano, está habituado a lidar com a pressão mediática que normalmente já lida no clube, na seleção, em contextos mundial, europeus. E, ou seja, eu acho que nada novo está a acontecer e, como tal, mesmo dentro da dificuldade e do momento um bocadinho mais frustrante, todos estão ainda assim na sua zona de conforto em relação a saber lidar com a situação que estão a encarar. E, como tal, eu só vejo isso como uma boa oportunidade. Eu nunca vi um momento mau, um momento difícil na vida de cada um de nós como uma muralha que nós não podemos ultrapassar, mas vi sim como uma pedra pela qual nós podemos subir em cima. Portanto,
facing tough questions from the media, he bluntly stated that the criticism out there could never be directed at just one individual and that the Portugal national team would never allow the noise and toxicity of social media to infiltrate the dressing room. As for Ronaldo, instead of arguing or offering explanations, the veteran captain delivered the strongest possible response without saying a single word. He posted a photo of the entire squad standing shoulder to shoulder in training, accompanied by a short but powerful caption, "Always united." Just when internal tensions and media pressure seemed to have pushed the atmosphere around the tournament to a breaking point, the chaos of the entertainment world unexpectedly stepped in to provide some relief, proving that amid all the seriousness, the 2026 World Cup still had room for a moment of laughter. At the centre of that comedy was I Show Speed, the superstar streamer with more than 50 million followers and an almost extreme obsession with Ronaldo. Somehow, through what seemed like pure magic, the teenager found himself live on Fox Sports, sitting right beside two giants to the game, Ibrahimovic and Henry.
W's. You want to see something crazy?
Who do you think is winning the World Cup?
Portugal. Ronaldo winning the World Cup. What? Watch. And look, watch. Watch he win. Watch he win. Watch he win. Watch. Watch Ronaldo win. I promise you he gonna win. Sue, baby, Suey. Watch he win, haters. Watch, I promise you, chat.
That scene probably looked funny and entertaining, right? But look at it through a deeper lens and remember that image carefully. The moment a Swedish football legend standing beside the host decisively brushed aside an over-the-top tribute to Ronaldo with a symbolic gesture. Because just a few minutes later in this video, you will understand why it was far more than a harmless joke on live television. Because behind that laughter was merely the opening act of a brutal response. Just 4 days after the forgettable night in Houston, Ronaldo walked onto the pitch against Uzbekistan carrying a level of pressure that, even at 41 years old, he had perhaps never experienced before. But the instincts of a king emerged at precisely the right moment. In the 6th minute, Ronaldo opened the scoring with a close-range finish after a cross from Cancelo.
Off goes Cancelo, delivering the cross! Ronaldo!
Then, in the 39th minute, he completed his brace from a perfectly weighted through ball by Bruno Fernandes, the very player whom critics had accused 4 days earlier of isolating him on the pitch.
So sprinting down the right, Ronaldo through the middle. It's Cristiano Ronaldo for Portugal. It's 3-0, and Ronaldo strikes again.
Portugal closed the match with a devastating 5-0 victory. The brilliant performance shattered Ronaldo's 10-match goal drought in major tournaments. He officially became the second oldest goalscorer in World Cup history behind Roger Milla, while also becoming the only player ever to score in 6 different World Cups. A unique record that not even Messi can match, having failed to score in the 2010 edition. It should have been the perfect fairy tale ending had Zlatan Ibrahimovic not remained in the Fox Sports studio and poured cold water over the celebratory atmosphere.
It was a game to score. It was a game for Portugal to score a lot of goals. And his message, I thought he never left. I don't know why he says I'm back.
At first glance, it sounded like nothing more than another sarcastic jab from the outspoken Sweden. But if you dig deep enough into history, you discover a more profound truth. This was not the first time Slang had found himself in the role of the man fading into the background, helplessly watching Ronaldo seize the spotlight right before his eyes. Let's go back 13 years. In November 2013, a World Cup playoff became a breathtaking one-on-one duel. Zlatan scored twice, but Ronaldo buried Sweden with a ruthless hat-trick.
He has done, surely. Well, when he's around, he's paved their path to Rio.
That was the last opportunity Zlatan would ever have to reach a World Cup. Ronaldo personally slammed that door shut. So when Zlatan sat in a studio in 2026, mocking CR7's 6th World Cup appearance, remember this: the outspoken Swede never got to play in the tournament as Ronaldo did. Ronaldo never had to watch from the outside the way Zlatan did. Thierry Henry's scar runs even deeper. In 2005 at Highbury, a flashy 19-year-old Ronaldo stunned everyone with a brace, helping Manchester United destroy Arsenal 4-2 on their own sacred ground. That humiliating defeat struck directly at Henry, the captain and the proudest symbol of the Premier League at the time.
Ball to Ronaldo, chance Manchester United, goal! Manchester United, Cristiano Ronaldo squares it up again.
Well, top class football.
At the moment, it's Ronaldo, it must be, it is! Manchester United lead 3-2!
And now, 21 years later, the man who was taught a lesson by that 19-year-old kid is sitting in a television studio scrutinising a 41-year-old legend, claiming that he can no longer make those central runs. All of this reveals a cruel pattern that has repeated itself for more than 2 decades. The greatest players of their generation walk away from encounters with Ronaldo carrying scars that never truly heal. This is no longer a story about one bad week in Houston. It is about the price of daring to stand in the path of a king. Even after retirement, those scars continue to burn, following them from the grass of the football pitch all the way to the seats of television pundits. What is fascinating is that amid the storm of mockery coming from brightly lit studios, Ronaldo never responded with a single angry word. Immediately after the final whistle against Uzbekistan, he simply turned toward the camera and shouted 2 short words: "I'm back." When speaking to the media afterward, his response was surprisingly calm. He admitted that it had been a difficult week, even a dark one that made him feel as though he had truly retired from football. But he persevered, just as he always has throughout his career, driven by an unwavering belief in hard work. The difficulties were real, but his conclusion remained firm. We are back.
La vida es así. Hay contrapartidas que tenemos durante los partidos, durante la vida, y lo objetivo principal es siempre mejorar. Fue lo que hacemos. Puedo decir que fue una semana muy dura, una semana difícil, una semana que la opinión pública fue muy dura con nosotros, todos los jugadores, para mí, para el entrenador. Pero si es siempre así, no pasa nada, porque como debes calcular, ya son 23 años de profesión y siempre cuando las cosas van bien, bien, cuando va mal, es un retirado, ya está viejo, siempre se va así. Pero bien, era una buena respuesta de los compañeros, era lo que queríamos, estábamos bien posicionados, jugamos bien, jugamos con las líneas arriba, y cuando así es muy difícil para Portugal, no es coincidencia que marcamos 5 goles. Hoy en día en el fútbol es muy difícil y la verdad que estoy muy contento. Ahora a descansar y seguir para lo próximo.
No names were mentioned. No direct response was aimed at Henry or Zlatan. The truth is that Ronaldo has never needed a microphone to answer criticism. All he has ever needed is a moment that forces the back of the net to ripple. And while Henry and Zlatan remained busy mocking what they considered outdated values, one of Ronaldo's former teammates at Manchester United stepped forward and offered an entirely different perspective. A defence not of Ronaldo's form, but of the intelligence behind his movement, something many people have mistakenly assumed was no longer relevant.
It's what Ronaldo's doing, he's taking that option away from the defenders, he stands behind them, then they're looking over the shoulders like, where is he? And then they drop, and then it creates a lot of space in front of the back four. It's really clever. Neves gets a cross into the space with Tuanzebe is dropping. He's worried about Ronaldo, and that creates the space for the goal. So it's really clever.
That understanding from former teammates once again proves that the central question here has never been whether Ronaldo is controversial or not, because he has always been at the centre of debate throughout his entire career. The real question is whether people continue to confuse media noise with the obvious reality on the football pitch. Because every time the world tries to bury him beneath a mountain of criticism, Ronaldo does exactly what he has been doing for 2 decades. He finds the camera, seizes the defining moment, and personally transforms every judgment against him into a film celebrating his own greatness. Never underestimate Cristiano Ronaldo. If you enjoy our video, don't forget to hit like to help this video reach to other football lovers, and hit the subscribe button to follow for more interesting videos about football stories. See you in the next video.